national deficit. Definition. The Middle East is the area south of the Caucasus Mountains and as far east as Pakistan, according to the U.S. State Department. According to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, foreign policy consists of self-interest strategies chosen by the state to safeguard its national interests and achieve its goals within its relations in this millennium. Fourth, our resolutional analysis is that by definition, even a small impact upon U.S. national security is still a negative impact. So therefore, the con in this case must prove that the U.S. foreign policy does not in any way affect the U.S. negatively. U.S. support for Israel is causing negativity towards the U.S. in the Middle East. Israel is a Jewish state and a part of the world surrounded by extremist groups and predominantly Muslim countries. Quote, "We say our terror against America is blessed terror, in order to put an end to suppression, in order for the United States to stop its support to Israel," said Osama bin Laden. This quote shows that one of the main goals of al-Qaeda was to attack America for supporting Israel. The U.S. has aided Israel much over the years, supplying $3 billion and in recent years advanced missiles such as so-called bunker busters and cluster bombs. Such missiles were agreed not to be used to help protect civilian populations. This violates a treaty signed between the Palestinians and the Israelis. This treaty was to help ensure security and stability within the region. This proves that hostilities in the area have only gotten worse. How does this affect America? Because of the fact that the U.S. is supplying Israel with weapons, Muslim extremists may seek to lash out even more at America. Also, as I will address in my next contention, using bombs that kill civilians could potentially turn local populations against us, creating more terrorists. U.S. support for Saudi Arabia in the Middle East, combined with the deaths of civilians from U.S. drone strikes, threatens national security. For example, on September 11, 2001, 15 Saudi Arabians flew commercial jets into United States office and government buildings. While this was over a decade ago, current U.S. policy with Saudi Arabia hasn't changed in over a quarter century, as stated by scholar Jonathan Marshall, who has written several books on the Middle East and world history. Saudi Arabia has even used money given to it by the U.S. to aid Ustad Abdul Rahab Azul Sayyaf, a good friend of Osama bin Laden, who invited bin Laden to help him bomb the Twin Towers. We have been, and to this day still are, funding terrorist attacks on ourselves. In addition, according to the Huffington Post, Saudi Arabia and the United States have an unofficial bargain. We pay more for their oil, and in return, the Saudi Arabian government gets virtually unlimited access to U.S. weapons. Last year, Saudi Arabia purchased half of all of the weapons the United States exported, about $33 billion of weapons. What's wrong with it? Saudi Arabia is a major supplier of weapons to Islamist extremist groups in the Middle East. The amount of money being spent on the interventions in the Middle East is substantially hurting our national security. The national deficit is a substantial threat to national security, said President Barack Obama. Last year we spent $1.3 trillion on the war in the Middle East. This year it's expected to rise by $100 billion to $1.4 trillion. This means that we are going to lose our spot as an international superpower. On the topic of drone strikes, for every drone strike we make, it costs $3 billion, kills one terrorist, and kills 49 innocent civilians. We are paying $3 billion to kill, basically, civilians and one terrorist. In the past years, we have killed 176 children in these drone strikes. As long as we are aiding terrorists by indirectly getting them weapons and funding their leaders, how can we call ourselves secure? How can we be secure when we are wrecking our economy with all of this deficit? Current U.S. foreign policy definitely undermines our national security. Because of this, I urge you to vote pro. Thank you.